Lucifer, a television series that graced screens from 2016 to 2021, carved out a unique niche for itself by blending the unlikely genres of police procedural, urban fantasy, and character-driven dramedy. The premise itself is undeniably attention-grabbing. Lucifer Morningstar, the literal devil, has grown bored with his eons-long tenure as the Lord of Hell and decides to abdicate his throne for an extended vacation in, of all places, Los Angeles. He opens an upscale nightclub called Lux and generally enjoys the earthly pleasures of wine, women, and song, all while exuding an irresistible charm and a penchant for drawing out people's deepest, darkest desires. The real catalyst for the show's narrative, however, arrives when a murder occurs outside Lux, leading Lucifer to cross paths with the astute and grounded LAPD homicide detective, Chloe Decker. Intrigued by Chloe's apparent immunity to his supernatural allure and her inherent goodness, a stark contrast to the dregs of humanity he's accustomed to, Lucifer inveigles his way into becoming her civilian consultant. This partnership forms the bedrock of the series, with each episode typically featuring a new crime to solve, while simultaneously developing the overarching celestial and infernal drama and, most importantly, the complex relationship between the charming devil and the skeptical detective. At the heart of Lucifer's appeal is undoubtedly Tom Ellis's magnetic portrayal of the titular character. Ellis embodies Lucifer with a perfect blend of rakish wit, flamboyant confidence, underlying vulnerability, and moments of profound pain. He is by turns hilarious, infuriating, and deeply sympathetic as he grapples with his daddy issues concerning God, his complicated relationship with his angelic and demonic kin, and his burgeoning, confusing feelings for Chloe. His British charm and impeccable comedic timing carry many scenes, and his musical performances are often a highlight. Lauren German as Chloe Decker provides a crucial counterbalance to Lucifer's flamboyance. She is the pragmatic, no-nonsense cop who initially dismisses Lucifer's claims of being the devil as a quirky, if elaborate, metaphor. Her journey of slowly coming to terms with the celestial truths around her, and her evolving bond with Lucifer, is central to the show's emotional core. The will-the-won't dynamic between Lucifer and Chloe is a significant driver of the narrative, sometimes to the frustration of viewers when obstacles felt repetitive, but ultimately providing many of the show's most heartfelt and engaging moments. Beyond the central duo, the supporting cast adds considerable depth and entertainment. D.B. Woodside plays Amenadiel, Lucifer's angelic older brother, whose initial mission to force Lucifer back to hell evolves into his own journey of self-discovery and understanding humanity. Leslie Ann Brandt is a standout as Mazikeen, a fierce demon and Lucifer's loyal confidant, who struggles to find her place on Earth away from hell's familiar torments, leading to significant character growth involving her identity and capacity for connection. Rachel Harris as Dr. Linda Martin, Lucifer's therapist, provides both comic relief and a surprisingly grounded perspective as she counsels celestial beings through their very human-like problems. Kevin Alejandro as Detective Dan Espinosa, Chloe's ex-husband and colleague, evolves from an initial antagonist to Lucifer to a more complex, often tragicomic, figure. Amy Garcia later joins as Ella Lopez, the LAPD's quirky and devout forensic scientist, whose unwavering faith and optimism often contrast amusingly with Lucifer's cynicism. The series delves into surprisingly resonant themes for a show with such a fantastical premise. It explores concepts of free will versus determinism, the possibility of redemption, the nature of good and evil, self-acceptance, and the complexities of family, particularly father-son relationships, as Lucifer constantly rails against his absentee father's perceived manipulations. The show uses its celestial characters to examine very human flaws and anxieties, making the divine surprisingly relatable. However, Lucifer was not without its weaknesses. The procedural case of the week format, especially during its initial run on Fox, which featured longer seasons, sometimes felt formulaic or a distraction from the more compelling mythological storylines and character arcs. While the crimes often thematically mirrored Lucifer's personal struggles, the mysteries themselves were rarely the show's strongest suit. Some critics and viewers also pointed to inconsistencies in the show's celestial lore or found certain plot developments, particularly in the later seasons, to be contrived or rushed. The handling of the central romance, while a key occasionally veered into repetitive angst before finding resolution. The show's journey itself was dramatic. After 3 seasons, Fox canceled Lucifer, prompting a massive fan campaign that led to Netflix picking up the series for a 4th, and eventually 5th and 6th seasons. The move to Netflix was generally seen as beneficial, allowing for shorter, more narratively focused seasons, a slightly darker and more mature tone, and greater freedom in depicting the supernatural elements and character complexities. The production values also appeared to improve. While some fans felt the writing or characterizations shifted slightly in the Netflix era, with some preferring the Fox era's specific type of humor or character dynamics, the revival allowed the story to reach a more definitive conclusion. The final season, as is often the case with beloved shows, proved somewhat divisive, with some fans satisfied and others feeling certain character arcs or plot points were not handled as well as they could have been. Overall, Lucifer succeeded because of its irresistible lead, the strong chemistry among its cast, its witty dialogue, and its willingness to explore deeper emotional and philosophical questions beneath a veneer of supernatural crime-solving. It was a show that managed to be simultaneously fun and surprisingly poignant, often when least expected. It cultivated a passionate fan base that connected deeply with its flawed, endearing characters and their quests for love, forgiveness, and purpose. Despite its occasional narrative stumbles, Lucifer offered a devilishly entertaining and often thoughtful journey that explored what it truly means to be good, evil, and perhaps most importantly, human. It was a show that, much like its protagonist, was more than the sum of its initially perceived parts, evolving and growing over its 6-season run into something quite memorable.